tell me when to start. I tell you when to start.
Tell you when to start.
Damn it.
Caddy. Action.
Hi everybody, welcome to Music and Money Mondays. I'm your host Claudia Dixon. Let's get started with another question from the inbox. This particular question is how, when, and if you should pay yourself, and this of course applies to our business owners, okay? So, as a good rule of thumb, between years 1 and 2, a lot of businesses are not profitable. So it's usually during that time that I do not suggest withdrawing money from the business. I think that those are the years where your business is growing, and the money that you make should be reinvested back into the business. However, for a lot of us, this is the money that we live off of, and we don't have the luxury to let every dime go back into the business. So typically I say, take about 20% of the net revenue, okay? So you have a $1,000 ticket, it may have cost you $200 to make that $1,000, you have $800 left over, you're gonna take 20% of that, okay? That's a comfortable amount, which still leaves you a good bit to reinvest into the business, and you're not hurting too bad. That's just a best practice, okay? Now, should you be paying yourself, or if you decide to pay yourself, how should you pay yourself? Well, I do not typically advise that my clients jump right into a payroll system, or sometimes payroll companies will be like, hey, put yourself on payroll. I don't think that that's a good idea, and here's why. If you start paying yourself as a W-2 employee, meaning that you are taking taxes out, you're paying payroll taxes, if that's something that you decide to do, then you're kind of limiting yourself, and it can provide some confusion. Let me tell you why. If your business has made $100,000 gross, that's before anything comes out, and let's say for you to make that $100,000, it took you about $40,000. So you have $60,000 remaining. If you've only paid yourself $20,000 of that $60,000, then you may say, okay, I've only paid $20,000, then I'm responsible for taxes, and you've only paid payroll taxes on that $20,000. But as a Schedule C or an LLC business or a sole proprietor, you are absolutely responsible for the paying taxes on the full $60,000. So it's kind of confusing for some of my business owners, because they may feel like, well, that money sat in the bank, or I didn't touch it, or I didn't pull it out. Please always remember that you are responsible for the money that your business makes. Even if you haven't spent it, even if you haven't taken it out personally, you will pay taxes on that. You're subject to self-employment taxes on that net revenue. So keep that in mind. And also, should you choose to pay yourself? Well, I don't necessarily think that that's something that you have to jump right into as a W-2 employee. You can still reap the same benefits, and I don't even want to say benefits, but there are other alternatives of something that you can do that doesn't require you to put yourself on payroll and start paying payroll taxes on yourself. Now, if you have employees, that's a completely different story. Now, with S Corps, you absolutely want to have yourself on payroll if you are a member, a working part of your business. That is something that, you know, it's mandated. So you want to pay yourself equivalent to about 20% of the gross revenue for the business, or you want to pay yourself a salary that is equivalent to what you would make if you were working for another company. So if you're a doctor, you don't want to say, oh, I only pay myself $30,000 from my own business or as a shareholder for my business. Well, doctors don't typically make $30,000 in the US, so that's not necessarily a good idea. So make sure that you're paying yourself fairly. If you are an S Corp, if you are working for a corporation, you want to make sure that the salary is equivalent to what you would make if you were working for someone else and not yourself. Okay? So hopefully I've answered your questions about how, when, and if you should pay yourself as a business owner. If you guys have any comments, please feel free to comment below or email me at claudia@jbeckaccounting.com or musicandmoney@biznola.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye-bye.